RCG racing fans, we're going to tear apart this machine, and then we're going to make this drag racer.
Wicked good intro. Alright, so obviously this Sears has seen better days. We're going to rip this whole thing down to frame, and then we're going to get it set on blocks so that we get it spec'd out where it is we want it, and then go from there. These front tires, utterly, totally toaster strudels, no ifs, ands, or buts. So we've got these ones to mock up, and we've got these ones that were originally on the diesel eater. These ones here have a welded hub in them that was done by somebody other than me, and they're wobbly, but they've already got bearings in them. So we'll see if they'll fit on these Sear Suburban hubs. A lot of you have asked if I could keep this conundrum of a look going on. I probably am not going to do the exhaust coming out of the headlight. The air intake is going to end up over on this side. So what I might do is put the lazy eye over here and do the air intake through the headlight bezel. Not quite sure, kind of like they do turbo cars in drag racing. We're going to try to line the exhaust up in through this, because I think that would look a lot better and be nicer. It turns out that the hood just came unrust welded from this, and I think I can get this pin to come out and be able to put the hood back on where it goes. This motor is toasted, no ifs, ands, or buts. It is done. There's some sort of strange customization going on here that I haven't quite figured out. All the deck lift assembly and everything is probably going to come out because we already have an independent brake. The seat is absolutely Furbied already, but that's coming out. What we're going to do is make a seat out of this wheelbarrow, and we've got wheel spacers in order to space everything out. I mean, it really should come apart quite nicely since it's already, on its way there. But once we get the wheelbarrow in here, the two tires are too close on the rear. So we're going to put wheel spacers in from a Ford Ranger on either side to widen it out about 4 inches, and then we should be good to go. A lot of you have asked about what year this actually is. I'll post this up along with whatever information I manage to find on the year. The original tires actually do moderately hold air. So we probably will cut the turf tires and run those to start with, but we've got other options available. The other problem is this motor here is a lot more skinny than this monstrosity that is going in it. And we've been able to get this to consistently go up to about 5,500 RPM to about 5,600 RPM. Once we delete the governor, we'll see what it's able to go and do at that point and get it set up to put in here. You know those horrifying Universal kits that you end up with for Christmas and stuff that you think are junk? These plugs here, those kits are your best friend. This is a 9/16. This is a 5/8 Universal with all those weird teeth. There we go. So now we can unscrew this, get it out of here, and get this back plate off. Okay. Well, we're going to save those set aside because there's a potential that we might use that for the brakes later. But that is the Sears deck lift. That is really bloody heavy. We managed to get in here and get this sliced up. And this is probably hotter than Hades. Yes, it is. So that there is where the axle mounts. This is insane amounts of poundage that we need to go and put back on here so that the axle can mount in. So that'll come up and over, and then later on when we go to build the wheelie bar, we'll just weld something in or bolt something in from this tab to this tab here, and then we'll put the bar out. But oh, we got these on. We need to buy slightly longer bolts in order to bolt them up to here, but they're just on there to show that the Ranger ones do fit. Oh! And that's why it's important to clean the shop up. Go ahead and show them what you just found. Is it not bolted in at all? What's going on with it? I don't think it's bolted in.
I don't think one side's bolted in since this doesn't move and it doesn't raise up. So I think this side isn't bolted in.
Oh, alright, well, that'll make uninstalling easier. Right?
Yeah.
You got it figured out? You got a game plan? What are we doing here?
I don't know. It's your machine.
Alright, ever since we started this project, I have had this really major gut feeling, having rebuilt as many tractors as I have, that this was somebody I have had enough of this beep machine. The motor is stuck. It is not happy by any means. And I think what happened is, I think they started to rebuild this because there's brand new hardware all across this machine that is definitely not original. And I think they started to rebuild it and then went to fire it up, and I think this engine decided that was its last straw and didn't want to live anymore. So we have not touched anything underneath this motor. I'm going to bet it's not even bolted in. I'm going to bet that they stuffed it in enough in order to, like, test it. Yep, it's not bolted in at all. There, that made removing it a lot easier. Yeah, the side cover is loose. Somebody started to take it back apart and then decided they were done with this project. Ah, there. Hi. John and I are going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to break down more of this because we need to get this frame to the point that we can split it. Yep, 103 pounds of cast iron. Almost. Okay, straight. There you go. Ow!
Sorry.
Yeah, there's that square indent right there on my thumb. Okay, so that came loose. Alright, we're not worried about saving it, so you need to do this one too. Let's see if we can try not to get my thumb this time. There we go. That was much nicer. Alright, see if you can get that tank out of there. Oh, that tank looks almost salvageable. I wonder if... Can you get the cap off? Yeah, right. Oh, what do you think you're going to use? No, you're going the wrong way. Okay. And you got the wrench the wrong direction, too. You got to flip the wrench this way. Okay, and then go this way with it. There you go. Okay, well, now that that poor thing is unusable, I bet. Oh, no, actually, that looks pretty good. Can I see the cap? Wow. It's actually in good condition. What's the inside look like? Can we see? Pretty good, and almost... that looks usable. That might have to get reused on another project. Alright, put the cap back on so we don't lose it, but only put it nice and lightly on. Alright, so now we're going to try and get this dashboard off. This is stuck. It does not want to move. There's some sort of set screw that's right here that is either snapped off or gone, which I'm assuming is what's supposed to hold this in place, but it won't move. So we're going to tap it a couple of times to see if it'll just come loose, and then we're going to undo this bolt, and the two on the other side, and see if this panel will come off. Oh, that is not nice on the kneecap, but it is moving. John, can you grab the camera and come over on this side? Alright. Can you see that little bit of rust? Mm-hmm. There was a snapped off screw on the inside there holding it the entire time. We've been fighting with that little itty bitty piece of rust this whole time. There it goes. John already managed to get the choke to come loose, and the throttle actually moves. They're a little gummed up, but we might be able to use them. There we are. Alright, John's currently putting his tools away just before we try and see if we can finally break this thing into the two halves that it should be able to. But I wanted to show you how this clutch assembly works. I've got the spring disconnected right now, so the steering piece comes back and then the spring connects right about in here. But what I wanted to show you was that this right here goes in. This is your brake. And right now you can see I've got it disconnected because we're going to split this thing. So if I pull this forward, that would have pulled the brake forward right there. And it's got band brakes in the back. And then you can see how this arm here, there's a pivot right there. So if I move this, you can see the pivot comes up and that drops the belt. The pivot goes back and that engages the belt. Now, we're going to try to keep this system because it's really strong and rugged stock. But what that means is that we can only lose from here forward on this setup because it actually uses this as the top of the clutch plate. Now that is not much engine room for that behemoth, which is part of why we need to stretch the frame. So we got 1, 2, 3 bolts, and hopefully this thing breaks in half. Alright, grab the pry bar and pry up right here. I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never done this, so we're going to make it up as we go. Okay. Pry up. Up. Whoa, right there. Good job. Okay. Okay, that's broken free. Okay, I'm going to bet that if I pry forward, will you pry up, that it'll split? Maybe? Whoa, that moved.
Whoa! Woohoo!
Alright, well that was a new one for us. We We've never split one of these in half, but I'm glad to see that it actually did work. I'll come down here so you can see what is going on. So that is split off of there. So the idea is that we're going to reblock this, put a level on it, and get this so that it's tipped slightly down so the wheelbarrow seat sits at the right angle to be comfortable. And then we'll mock up what we got going on here, piece it back together, and probably weld it. We probably won't bolt it out of the fact that we want to get the front end as low as possible, and this is going to be so far down that it's going to be like 6 inches below the original bolt-in point. So is that a fun weekend?
Yes!
Can you say thank you for viewing?
Thank you for viewing!
And what else?
Like and subscribe?
Yes, you're supposed to yell like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe!
There we go. I'm glad to see the monkey acting lessons are paying off. Alright guys, there we go. Whoa! We've got at least 1 or 2 more videos that are going to be done with the Duramax behind John, and a whole ton of measurements, and then we'll see if we can stuff it in the Sears. Have fun! Bye-bye!